Hey, welcome to the Catalyst Midweek Podcast, where we continue the conversation from this past week's sermon. My name is John Kelly. I'm the discipleship minister here at Catalyst, and this is Rob Harlemert, our youth minister. The main thing this week is no one can control you but you. We've been doing a whole series on the fruit of the Spirit, and this was the final sermon in that series on self-control. Rob, what did you think about the message yesterday, and what kind of sticks out in your mind from what you heard yesterday?
I really appreciate it. I love the way that Dave talked about self-control. I would say the majority of self-control sermons are about pornography and lust, and he did not go that route. He didn't even mention it, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
I would say the majority of people, if they hear that, they're like, oh, I've heard this before, and they just tune out, which is horrible to think about, that they tune out whenever we start talking about like the biggest issue.
Yeah.
One of the biggest issues in the United States or in the world today. But he didn't do that. And I really appreciate it. We had a great testimony on stage. Mm-hmm. They did a great job talking about how self-control impacted their life, where they realized that they weren't controlling their life, and then they implemented self-control, and just the vast difference it made in their life.
And even how their relationship with God helped them to maintain that self-control.
Absolutely. And I loved that output of it, because there was redemption in the end. Mm-hmm. Most of the time it's like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And you can take sermons like that every once in a while, or talks like just getting beat in the head. Okay, I probably shouldn't do that. I probably shouldn't do that. But the redemption from that is what will cause people to follow, which is super cool. What did you think, John?
I liked, almost right off the bat, he went from the I can't to I won't argument. Mm-hmm. You know, he said, I can't stop spending. I can't stop eating. I can't control my mouth. I can't let things go. He said the truth is, when you're saying that, that's not what you're saying.
Yep.
You're saying, I won't stop spending. Mm-hmm. I won't stop eating. I won't control my mouth. I won't let things go.
Yeah.
This idea that we choose what we do.
Yeah.
Nobody chooses for us. We're the ones that choose. Mm-hmm. And so in every life situation, whether it's your family finances, whether it's fidelity in your marriage, whether it's things like what you were talking about, like pornography, things like that.
Yeah.
You choose to do those things. Nobody chooses those for you.
Yeah.
And to say you can't, that really diminishes the power of God in your life.
Yep.
And that, I think for me, that sticks out a lot from yesterday. Because I think I'm like everybody else. I think you've probably been there too. There's been things you've been challenged to do and you're just like, I can't do it.
Yep. Yeah.
And the truth is, you just won't.
Yeah.
You just choose not to do it.
Absolutely.
But instead of being willing to tell the truth, and say, I just won't do it, you try and make it as though there's just no way you can do it.
Oh yeah, everyone knows that. That's dancing for me.
It is.
I hate dancing.
You don't like dancing?
No, I don't like doing things I'm not good at.
You're so graceful though.
That's okay. That's dancing. I hate dancing. I hate it, and I won't do it. I won't. I'll say it. I won't do it.
Man, now I kind of want to see you dance.
No, I won't do it. It's horrible.
Fair enough.
Doing it.
Fair enough.
I'm not doing it.
I won't try and force that on you.
And it's even funny because Dave got on this. I've used that phrase before. I can't. Before in the office, and Dave will say, "You mean you won't?" And then I look at him and say, "Don't tell me what to do." And then he just shakes his head and laughs at me. But he's right. He really is. If you say you can't do something, if it's not physically challenging to you, like obviously I can't pick up a car.
Really?
No, I can't.
Man, you've been working out so hard.
I know, but I still can't pick up a
crazy.
car. Maybe one day, but right now I cannot.
We'll pray about that.
Okay. But I just won't. I can't pick up a car. Right. I've tried, and I can't. Now, most things in our life, the challenges and barriers in our life, I heard a great quote last week. It says, if Satan can't destroy you, he will distract you.
Absolutely.
And one thing that he loves to put in front of us is the things that we don't have self-control on. Mm-hmm. And he'll just put it in front of you and put it in front of you. He'll use it as a way to escape. And most of these things that we won't stop doing is things that we enjoy. And most of them aren't actually like devastating, like right off the bat. Most of them are like it happens over time. And the person who did the interview actually said that. He goes, this wasn't just like day one I became this way. No, it's like a steady over time of this giving up your self-control over the certain objective in your way.
Or taking control of your self-control.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really, for me, was the thing I kind of picked up yesterday, was this idea that we are out of control.
Yes.
And we need to take control.
Okay, yeah.
And that's where the problem is. We're willing to give up the control. That's why we say things like, I can't. Yeah. Well, if that's not true, that means you don't have control over your own life. Mm-hmm. You don't have control over what you're doing.
Yeah.
Somebody else does.
Mm-hmm.
So who is that?
Yep.
And I loved the testimony.
Yeah.
It really spoke to me. It's something I've struggled with for years, and that's my weight. And there's one of the members of our church named Jamie who got up there and talked about the fact that he's lost 120 pounds in the last year.
Yeah.
120 pounds. He's been committed. I actually talked to him after the service. He said in that whole time that he's been dieting, 5 days he came off of his diet.
Yeah.
5 days total.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Usually it takes people 5 days to be off the diet.
Exactly.
You know, and in the last year, 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
And he just said, that I had to turn this over to God. You're in control. And since you're in control, I'm going to trust you and I'm just going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like the idea of self-control is understanding, first of all, that to have self-control, you have to realize that you don't have control. Mm-hmm. And you have to take it back.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to say no. I always think about people who are out of control, and so they try to control every situation around them.
Yeah.
He quoted John Cleese, who said, people who cannot control their emotions have no choice but to control the actions of others.
Yeah.
And that is so true.
Okay.
I mean, how many people have you met that are control freaks when they're with other people?
Yeah.
They want to be in charge of everything. But if you were to go to their house, it's probably a complete disaster.
Which is funny because when he said that, I was like, really? Like, I kind of disagreed with him at first. I was like, I've never, and maybe it's just because I never put those two together.
Yeah.
I was like, I just always thought there's some people that are just control freaks. They like being in control. Mm-hmm. But I never really thought of it that way. But the more he talked about it, I was like, okay, well, maybe there are people around me that the reason they're control freaks is because there's probably mass chaos around them, and they're just trying to grasp something and be in control of it.
Everybody wants control of something.
Yeah.
Everybody does. Doesn't matter who they are. They want to have control of something. That's why a lot of times the parents who struggle with child abuse are the parents who their whole world is insane.
Yeah.
And so they see this child who is weak and can't really fight back, and it's the only thing they can have control over.
Okay, yeah.
And so they command control over this child, and it's horrible because they have no self-control in their life. And it's amazing how many people struggle with this. I've being in ministry now for 23 years. I've seen so many people who that's what their struggle is.
Yeah.
Life is out of control, so I'm going to find this one thing, and I'm going to own it. I watched a teen choir director fall apart on me. I knew things were rough at home, but we were having a meeting, and she made the statement. We said we were going to move the teen choir to being every other year. By the way, if you haven't been in church many years, back in the 90s there was this thing called teen choir. And I truly believe it was from Satan, because it always seemed to divide youth groups.
Yep.
And there are probably some people listening right now who are just mad at me for even saying that. But I've never experienced a teen choir that ended up helping a youth ministry. It always seemed to be everything in the youth ministry became about this teen choir. And a church that I served at had one, and that started to happen. And we decided what we're going to do is move the teen choir to every other year.
Okay.
And this lady who was in charge of it blew up into tears and yells out as loud as she can, "That is my ministry."
Yeah. Truth comes out.
Yeah. It was hers.
Yeah.
And she wanted control. And the moment that control was starting to be pulled away, she grabbed on for everything she could have, and she became very angry and very mean.
Yeah. And
it's amazing how people who cannot control themselves, they try to control others, or at least control their situations.
Yeah. I still struggle with it a little bit though.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. when I see, I believe it. I think it does happen.
Yeah.
But I never put the two together. Honestly, that's crazy to me that I went throughout my entire life with controlling people all around me, and I just never assumed, oh, there might be something going on at home. Or if I knew there was something going on at home, or maybe their mental state wasn't great, I just never put it together. I just thought they were crazy. And I was like, okay.
And there it is.
There it is.
There it is, right there.
Yeah. I don't know. Now I know. Okay. There's connection there.
Well, Dave's third point, he said, was the secret of self-control is becoming fully satisfied in God. Now, when you hear that, what does that mean for you?
He talked about the desire to need. Like, I need this. And if you're fully satisfied with God, you don't need anything. And I completely agree with it. There's been plenty of things in my life where I would cut out. I would ask God, hey, God, if I can't adapt this into ministry, just tell me to stop, and I'll stop doing it. And I think it's so true. Whenever you fill yourself with God, your desire to buy things, or whatever it is for people, I would say mine for a long time was buying things. Not a lot. I would go buy something, and I don't think it was there for a long time in my life. Maybe my high school years. When I had a job, I had no bills. I could just spend my money the way I wanted.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't filled with God and His bride, the church, I'd just buy stuff. And then whenever I found the church, and it's like that's all I want. And you don't need anything when you have that. That's what I immediately thought of. Just the change in my life. When you're filled up, you don't need anything.
Well, it was interesting because in the testimony that Jamie did, he talked about as he was eating more nutrient-dense foods.
Yeah.
He said he wasn't eating as many calories, but he felt fuller. And the truth is, with your body, when you fill it with the things it needs, it doesn't ask you for more.
No.
Because it has what it needs.
Yeah.
And we eat so much food that has no nutrient quality to it at all. Basically devoid of nutrients a lot of times. And the food we eat, our bodies are still hungry, not because we need more food, but because we never got the nutrients and the vitamins and the minerals and the things that our body needs. And I would say that in our lives, when we aren't filling our lives with Christ, when we aren't filling our lives with the church and with God's will, our body keeps yearning for more. I think when it's that same thing. If you're not getting the nutrients you need, you're going to need more. I think that's why you have so many people in Hollywood and the music industry and billionaires and all these people who commit suicide or find themselves caught up in scandal, or because if they're not led by Christ, they're always going to need more.
That's true.
And until they fill that void with what they need, Jesus, they're going to be wanting more. They're going to want more, and they're going to look for it in the weirdest places because they can't understand why. Why isn't the money fulfilling the need? Why aren't the women fulfilling the need? Why aren't the drugs fulfilling the need? Why isn't the power fulfilling the need? It's because they're not looking in the right place. Instead of eating at least one salad a day, they're just eating buckets and buckets of French fries. And they're just not getting what their body needs, and as a result, they lose control.
That's true. That is 100% true. Mine's Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids.
I love Sour Patch Kids.
Really?
It is so bad. And I wouldn't say that I can say. If I'm stressed out at work, or if I'm stressed out, or if anything's going on in my life, I can go up to my office, watch a movie, maybe play some video games. And if I have Sour Patch there, I'll just eat them all. And what I should be doing is going to God, saying, hey, God, this is an annoyance in my life. Give me direction, or take it from me, or anything. And anytime I do that, I'm cool. But if I don't, I go up and eat Sour Patch Kids.
My personal one is a close cousin to the Sour Patch Kids.
What is that?
It's the gummy bear.
Gummy bear. Ooh. Okay.
Man, I can ruin some gummy bears, man.
I can
ruin some gummy bears really quick.
Oh man,
But
that's so true. I remember it was big. I think people you talked about the empty void.
Yeah.
And we would use that in youth ministry all the time, especially when I was in youth ministry. It's like you have your body, and there's this one spot that's supposed to be for God.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that can fill that spot is God. Everything else, you put it there, it's going to go away. You put it there, and we're searching for fulfillment, but we sometimes mistake like happiness for fulfillment,
mm-hmm.
when we need to be filled with joy and the fruit of the Spirit. And mine is Sour Patch Kids. I want to fill that hole with Sour Patch Kids.
It's funny, my daughter, she's
Yeah.
2 years old, and she has one of those toys that has the cutouts of the different shapes, and you have to put the little shapes in the right shape.
That's good. I like that.
And when she was about a year younger, she's about a year and a
Mm-hmm.
half old, she would get so frustrated. And it was always with the star and the plus sign.
Okay, because it's close.
Because they look close together.
Yeah.
But neither one fit in the other one.
Yeah.
And so she would beat on it, and she'd yell at it, and she'd look at me, and she'd get this look, and she would just get so frustrated because why aren't you fitting where I want you to go?
Yeah.
And you think about that, man. Sometimes we're a bunch of 2-year-olds getting mad at a little toy
Yeah,
that won't
exactly.
work the way we want it to.
Exactly.
You know? And that's when we lose control.
Yeah.
Because we're so frustrated because what we think should work isn't working, when the reality is we need to become fully satisfied in God.
Oh, I know.
100%.
And a lot of the time it comes, I've now that I think about it, you know, when things are going crazy in your life, it's I need to take control of the situation that's in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Not, okay, God, I need to remove myself from the situation and walk with you and where you want me to go. It's always, and it's even, this even sounds terrible. Sometimes it's, I'm in the situation, God, come into my situation and fix it.
Yeah.
Like we can control God in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have this almighty power to be like, creator of the universe, fix me, instead of us saying, no, okay, God, I'm going to remove myself from this world and go with you and walk with you.
It's a Santa Claus mindset,
Yeah.
not Jesus.
So, and it's almost, that's good. Yeah, that's,
It really
that's very
is.
true.
It's
And
gimme, 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 gimme.
Yeah.
And if you don't love me.
And when you think about self-control, it's not you being in control, but walking with God and choosing to walk with God, and
That places you in control.
which places you in control, because when you give your burdens to Him, you can walk freely.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have the goal in the front of our mind, which is we're going to go to heaven, we don't have to worry about the things of this world.
Yep.
And that's self-control right there. To me, I think that's where it comes from.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I like this one statement he made. He said, understand that your passions are trying to ruin you.
Okay, yeah.
I really like that. He quoted Romans 8:5. He said,
Yeah.
those who live according to the flesh have their minds set on what the flesh desires, but those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires. And that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are things we're all passionate about
Oh, yeah.
that, quite honestly, aren't in God's plan.
No.
I mean, let's shoot straight for a second. We're going to come out of the closet right now, but not that one. We're going to let you know that we are huge Ohio State football fans.
Oh, yeah.
And I am a very passionate Ohio State football fan.
So am I.
But I have to remember where that passion belongs.
Yes, absolutely.
Because there are times when I'm watching a game and something dumb happens, and the thing I want to say is not the thing that should ever come out of my mouth, and I have to have control over that and not do that thing.
Yes.
Or when I come up on a Michigan fan who makes a snide comment.
Oh, yeah.
Got to control that tongue, you know.
Uh-huh.
So I understand what he says when your passions are trying to ruin you, because there's so many people, they get passionate about certain things.
Yeah.
And it can even be good things.
Yeah.
You can be passionate about a certain ministry,
Mm-hmm.
but so passionate to the point that you are unforgiving, graceless, and not understanding of anything outside of this ministry that you are passionate about.
Yeah.
And if other people are not on board with you, they're wrong. And that passion, which is about something good,
Yeah.
suddenly turns to something completely ugly.
Oh, yeah.
And can cause all kinds of problems.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Dave has said it many times. The thing you are the most passionate about is probably the thing you're the most lonely with.
Oh, yeah.
Because other people aren't going to be as passionate
Yeah.
as you are about the thing you're the most passionate about.
That's true.
So understanding your passions in such a way where you realize it's my passion, but my passions aren't the end-all be-all for everybody else on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
It's so amazing how people can ruin friendships and really mess up relationships and just lose people.
Oh, yeah. I think that's why God allows Ohio State to be so good. It's because we don't get frustrated very often.
No, because we always win.
We always win.
Yeah.
So whenever a Michigan fan comes up to me and gives me loudmouth, I just don't say anything because I know I'm better than them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a given. It's just a given.
So
why Kentucky fans love Ohio State so much.
I have a story about that exact, and it has to do with Ohio State, which is the funniest thing in the world that you said that.
Yeah.
It's so true because I used to get really frustrated at games. I don't get frustrated at games anymore. Yeah. I really don't. They're a bunch of. When I got older than the players, I started caring a little less.
Yeah.
I still get excited about it.
They're just college kids.
Now they're just college kids. I'm like, now they're supreme athletes and bigger and stronger than I will ever be. But I remember I was in college. I was a junior. No, I was a senior, and we were in the dorms, and me and my roommate had our bunk beds stacked, and we both had recliners, and my recliner was the one closest to the beds. And if Ohio State did bad, I would take the TV remote and I would chuck it in his bed. It didn't hurt anything. The controller would just like land in his pillows or his blanket, and it would just sit there. No harm done. Well, one day, we were playing Michigan State my senior year, and we lost 2 games that year, and that was the second game in the Big Ten championship, I think. Yes, in the Big Ten championship, we lost that game. And the moment I realized that we were going to lose, I took my controller, like I always did, and I would chuck in his bed, but I missed the bed.
Oh, did you hit the wall?
No, I hit the desk.
Oh.
And it clipped it, and my controller exploded. And I looked at it, and I immediately forgot about the game. I was like, I'm stupid. And to this day, I have that same TV hanging up in my garage for community group, and I still have the remote. So if you ever look at the remote or the controller, it's like cut or snapped right in half, and you'll know the story. And I realized that day, I'm like, why am I'm breaking this expensive thing because of a game.
Yeah.
And
again, it has no consequence on your life, in all honesty.
Nothing.
Outside of bragging rights with other people.
Yeah, nothing.
Now, since then, we've destroyed Michigan State pretty much every time we met them.
100%.
But that was a bad day.
Yeah. So. And you're so right. Like, the thing that you're so passionate about can ruin you. I look like an idiot in front of all my friends. Yeah. They were all laughing at me and like, you're dumb. I'm like, yeah, I am. I am 100% dumb. And it was because of my passion. And people didn't want to watch Ohio State games with me the following year because they're like, oh, you're just the guy that gets mad.
Oh, yeah, we don't want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
Nobody likes the hothead.
No. And
everybody stays away from the hothead.
I'm no longer that person.
That's good. You know, I've got these foam bricks. They look like actual bricks.
Yeah.
And they're called bad call bricks.
Oh, is that what you...
and they actually say that on them, bad call brick, and it has the Ohio State O, and I've got another one for the Cleveland Browns. I've had to use that one a lot more.
That's good.
But I've got them so that I can chuck them at the TV and it just bounces off and doesn't do anything to it.
Nice.
Because they're made of foam.
I need some of those.
But yeah, you're right. It's amazing how much weight we put into things that don't hold really any consequence. And even the ones that do, we lose perspective on that thing's place in other people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy to just completely mess up a relationship, mess up a friendship, mess up a family. I mean, it doesn't take much.
I know.
It doesn't take much. And to be fully at peace with yourself and with God and other people is really the goal of all of this. And when you can be at peace with other people and you can fully chase after God, it's like you said, you will have control because of who you're walking with. Mm-hmm. And the control comes from Him, but it is your control.
Yeah. And
you choose to walk with Him, and because you choose to walk with Him, that single choice transforms everything.
Oh, yeah.
Everything.
That's so true. Well, I think we've covered it all.
Yeah.
We could go on forever and tell stories about how we're not in control of anything.
Find out some more about your addiction to Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, I love Sour Patch Kids.
I had no idea.
Don't buy me Sour Patch Kids. It's not funny.
Or buy him a lot of
Don't
Sour
do
Patch
it.
Kids.
It's a trap. Don't do it. Please don't do it.
I'm actually going to put a huge bag on your desk tomorrow.
Don't do it. I'm going to throw them back at you.
You're going to eat them.
Don't tell me what to do. Well, this has been the Midweek Podcast. If you've been blessed by this, if you think it's funny that I'm addicted to Sour Patch Kids, why don't you go and share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter or Instagram, point some people to it, email it to all your friends. We would love to continue the conversation with all of you. If you have any comments, go ahead and comment down below. Send us an email, text message about it. We would love to answer any of your questions. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want, hit the notification bell. You'll get an email directly into your inbox every time that we post one of these. That's been it. This is John Kelly. He's our discipleship minister. I'm Rob Harlemer. I'm the youth minister here at Catalyst Christian Church, and we'll see you next week.